My beloved child, there are things that may seem like mere coincidences, a word spoken, an image, a dream, yet in truth they are signs I am sending to you. Whoever touches these things with a sincere heart will receive from me a new house not built of bricks and stones, but of peace, the kind of peace that the world cannot give and cannot take away. Do not despise those small signals, for the greatest blessings are often hidden inside what seems most ordinary. For tonight is the night when the Lord repairs the house. I do not come to make you afraid, but to put in order the inner room of your spirit, the room you once locked tight because of wounds, deceit, and the accusing voices that made you believe, I am not worthy. I come to strip away the mask you wear even before yourself, to take off the old garment and clothe you with a new robe of light and grace. This is not merely a repair, it is a renewal, a season of grace that is beginning. My beloved child, when I step into your house, I am not looking for beautiful walls. I look at the foundations. I do not come to repaint the old plaster. I come to tear away what is false. For only when the house of your soul is rebuilt on truth can grace find a place to dwell. One night the Lord God spoke to the prophet Jeremiah, "Go down to the potter's house, and there I will let you hear my words." Jeremiah went down and saw the potter forming a vessel on the wheel. But the vessel was spoiled in his hands, so he remade it into another vessel as it pleased him to make. Then the Lord said, "O house of Israel, can I not do with you as this potter has done? You are in my hand like clay in the potter's hand." Jeremiah 18:1-6. That night Jeremiah understood that God does not destroy in order to end things. He reshapes in order to restore. And today, I come to you in the same way, not to smash you, but to break the shell of falsehood, the shell that makes you think you are strong while inside you are fracturing piece by piece. I come to repair the house so that it will no longer be a refuge for anxiety, but become a dwelling place for the Holy Spirit. You once thought that the upheavals in your life were punishments, but in truth, they were signals that I was knocking at the door of your house. When you see everything in your life beginning to fall apart, relationships unraveling, work in chaos, your mind weary, that is not the end. It is the night I step into the house to make repairs. I remove each brick of deceit you have unconsciously used to build. The words, "I'm fine, everything is okay, I'm all right," while inside you are crying for help. I am not afraid of dust, nor am I repelled by mold. I walk in to wipe clean every dark corner where you have stored fear, guilt, and the things you have never dared to face. For only when you stand honestly before yourself can I rebuild the true foundation of blessing. Many people ask me for blessing, but few are willing to let me touch the place of pain. You want your house to be beautiful, but you are afraid for me to enter the locked room. You long for favor, yet you cling tightly to the old self, the old ego, the old ways of thinking, the old way of loving. I must break down old walls so that light can come in. Sometimes I allow a hidden truth to be exposed, a relationship to collapse, a false belief to crumble, not to shame you, but so that you no longer live on a counterfeit foundation. Do not fear the sound of my hammer, because every blow is a rescue from a greater collapse. After all the old, decaying layers have been stripped away, you will see an empty space. And in that very emptiness, I will breathe new life and raise up a house of peace. Once, you lived in that house like a tenant, always afraid of being evicted, always afraid of losing your security. But from the moment I stepped in, I became the owner of the house. You no longer have to strain to hold everything together. I teach you to live as an heir, not as one merely struggling to survive. I set everything back in order. Your mind no longer in chaos, your heart no longer ruled by fear, and I take my place at the center. Peace is no longer a fleeting emotion, but becomes the permanent climate of this new house. And that is the new season of grace. when everything no longer rests on your strength, but on the foundation I laid from the beginning of creation. My child, before I open the door of blessing, I cleanse the inner room of your spirit where you dwell. In the stillness of the night, I step into the house of your heart, a place where light has not shone for a long time. I do not come with thunder or loud noise. I come in a silence that awakens your conscience. I shine my light into each room, the room of your thoughts, where you have stored up doubts, the room of your habits, where you hide small things that quietly corrode your soul, the room of your emotional bonds, where old relationships still bind you with invisible cords. I point to each dark corner and say, "This is the place I want to heal." You see the thick layers of dust, that is, the hurtful words, manipulative influences, and distorted expectations you have allowed others to build inside your mind. You think you are strong, but in truth you are imprisoning yourself in a house without windows. I say to you, let me open the door, and when you open your heart, the light pours in not to expose you to the world, but to expose the darkness to my light. From this moment, I reset the order of things. No longer must you strain to control everything. No longer must you build your defenses out of silence or anger, for I am the owner of the house. This house belongs to me, and I, myself, will guard its peace by my power, not by your effort. My beloved child, the night when the Lord repairs the house is not a night to be feared, but the night when every layer of deceit is stripped away so that true light can shine. The house of your spirit will no longer be old and cracked, for the new owner has come, and his name is peace. My child, there are nights when I must turn off every light outside just so you can see the faint little lamp within your own heart. When all the noise dies down, when the applause of people fades, when you sit alone in a familiar room yet feel utterly empty, that is the very moment I begin inspecting your house. Do not fear that darkness, for I am using it to reveal the corners you have forgotten, the doors you have locked with worry, pride, or fear. You call it crisis, I call it an hour of spiritual inventory. It is not to punish you, but so that you may know what kind of house you are living in, whom you are worshiping, in the house of your heart, me, or your small, fragile self. Do you know that each person's soul is like a house? Some rooms are bright, some are dark, some are clean, and some are old and dusty from years of neglect. For many years you have busied yourself painting the outside walls and making the yard look beautiful, but I see the cracks spreading within, cracks of jealousy, of woundedness, and of exhaustion from trying so hard to please people. You sweep sadness away with a forced smile, hang on your walls staged pictures of happiness, but deep inside I see that the house is weary. I do not blame you, for I know you have had to struggle to survive for so long. But my child, mere survival is not truly living. I do not want you only to endure, I want you to be healed. And to heal, I must begin by inspecting. Sometimes you ask me, why do you let me suffer? Why are you silent when I collapse? Yet, my beloved child, in that silence, I am walking through every room of your inner house. As a physician cannot heal without touching the wound, I must touch the deepest place of pain to reveal where the damage lies. I do not repair from the outside, because the sickness of the soul is not in behavior, but in motive. There are times you pray not to meet me, but to prove your own piety. There are times you serve not out of love, but from fear of being forgotten. You think you are doing it for me, but in truth, you are only trying to recover your worth in the eyes of people. That is why, on the night I inspect the house, I do not look at painted walls. I look at the foundation where truth must be laid firm and where faithfulness must be anchored. And when I examine you, do not run away. Let the tears fall, for they are the way your soul washes away its dust. You cannot be healed while you are still justifying yourself. Admit that you are tired, that your heart is cracking, that certain bad habits have sunk so deep you no longer recognize them. I know all of this, and yet I still love you just as I did on the first day I formed you with my own breath. Once, I sent the prophet Samuel to the house of Jesse to anoint the one who would be king. One by one, strong and impressive sons came before him, and Samuel thought surely these must be the ones I had chosen. But I said, "You look at the outward appearance, but I look at the heart." And among all those shining figures, I chose David, the young shepherd boy, smelling of fields and dust. Why? Because the house of David's soul was not built on human praise, but on simple sincerity. You see, when I inspect a house, I am not searching for perfection, I am searching for truth. Even if your house is messy, as long as you are honest, I will choose to stay. But if the house gleams with artificial light, no matter how many glittering lamps it holds, I cannot dwell there, for that light is not mine. My child, I do not require a palace, I only desire a truthful house. Let me tell you why the house of your spirit has grown dim. It is not because I left, but because you invited other guests in. You let fear take over the living room, bitterness sleep in the inner chamber, gossip and comparison spread their feast in the center of the house. Then, when peace disappears, you ask, "Where is the Lord?" You forget that I do not dwell where complaints reign. I dwell where there is surrender. Your house is not toppled by demons, but eaten away day by small compromises. A careless word, a contemptuous glance, a tiny bit of self-satisfaction, all these join together to form a wall between you and me. And on the night I inspect the house, I do not only point out your faults, I also show you what has been stealing your peace. Remember this, darkness cannot remain where my light dwells. When you turn your heart toward me, that light will naturally drive out all deceit. But if you keep chasing artificial lights, praise, success, even religious forms, without life, you will keep living in illusion. I do not want you to be a believer with a beautiful smile and a withered soul. I want you to truly live, truly rejoice, truly be free, and freedom can only come when you dare to let me clear away all that is old and decayed. Now I call you to return, not to return to a rule or a system, but to return to me, the one who created that house with love and longs to dwell in it forever. You do not need to tidy everything before inviting me in. Simply open the door, even if your house is a mess. I will come in, I will clean it with you, corner by corner, room by room. When you dare to let me inspect, you will realize that everything you tried so hard to hide does not drive me away. It moves me to love you even more. For I know that beneath the dust of your mistakes lies the pearl of humility, waiting to be awakened. I know you are afraid of the light, because you are afraid of being exposed. But the light I bring does not put you to shame. It restores you. When I shine my light, I do not say, "You are wrong." I say, "You need to be loved again in the right way." The night I search through the house is not a night of destruction, but a night of rebirth in grace. And when that light touches you, the walls of sin will begin to crack, so that the fragrance of freedom can spread everywhere. My child, I am preparing something great. But before I can open the door of blessing, the house must be cleaned, because I cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. Tonight, I do not come to count your faults. I come to count again every tear you have shed that I still remember. Every sigh you breathe I have heard. Every weariness you carry I understand. I have not come to condemn, but to restore. When dawn breaks, you will see. The night of searching the house was in fact the night you were set free. Then you will understand that my examination is not meant to make you feel small, but to show you how great I am. For without the night, you would never know how precious the sunrise is. And when that light shines through every room of the house, you will clearly see the things you once clung to were only temporary, while the one who truly keeps the house standing firm is me. the foundation that can never be shaken. When you allow me to search you, you are stepping into a new journey, a journey of righteousness, where every falsehood will be stripped away, where you learn to live truly, love truly, and worship truly. For after the night of searching the house, I will rise up on your behalf, acting in justice to rebuild the hedge of protection around your life. That is the next step in this season of grace that I am opening for you. After that night of illumination, when my gaze has reached into every hidden corner of the house of your heart, I do not walk away. I begin to act. There are things you think are random, when in fact, it is my hand quietly arranging circumstances to expose what is false, not to hurt you, but to lead you out of the darkness of deception that has blinded you for so long. My child, when I carry out justice, it is not the moment I lose my temper, it is the moment I rescue, for whatever is built on lies, I will cause to collapse, and whatever is built on truth, I will protect by my power. Remember this: truth always finds a way to rise on its own. It does not need to shout, nor does it need to prove itself. It only needs the time that I have appointed. There are moments when you see the wicked prosper, the deceitful living in apparent peace, and your heart cries out, "Lord, where are you?" Yet I am still there, quiet like a seed in the soil, waiting for the right season to sprout forth justice. You do not need to fight back. You do not need to claim justice for yourself. For I am the Lord of hosts. No scheme can be hidden from me. No slander escapes my ears. I see it all, and I act in my time, so that no one can boast that they achieve justice by their own hand. My beloved child, I know there are times when you choke with grief because you see deceit being celebrated while honesty is wounded. There are people you once trusted who have turned their backs, stories that have been twisted, words you spoke that have been bent like arrows and turned back to pierce you. But be still, do not react the way the world does, for the truth does not need you to defend it. I myself will defend it. What I need you to guard is an upright heart. Do not let bitterness take the place of faith. Because every time you swallow injustice and still choose to trust me, that is when I am building a hedge of protection around you, an invisible hedge that only those who are spiritually sensitive can perceive. My justice is not like human justice. People judge according to evidence. I judge according to the heart. Some are vindicated in the courts of this world, yet remain condemned in their own conscience. Others are misunderstood in the eyes of people, yet are declared righteous before me. Therefore, do not seek validation from the crowd. Seek acknowledgement in my gaze. When I say, "It is enough," every lie will collapse on its own, without any human hand needing to intervene. Once, I spoke through my prophet Elisha, saying, "Tomorrow, flour and barley will be sold cheaply at the gate of Samaria." At that time the people were starving, the city was under siege on every side, and an officer scoffed, thinking such a thing impossible. But in just one night, I caused the enemy army to panic and flee, leaving their wealth scattered over the fields. And that very officer, the one who had mocked my word, died at the city gate and never tasted the blessing. My justice arrives as gently as the wind, yet as solid as the rock. And do you see? Sometimes I do not need to strike. I only need to lift my hand, and every falsehood collapses by itself. Any deceit that is allowed to stand for a time exists only to reveal a deeper truth within you. Do you trust me enough when justice seems delayed? Do not be quick to draw conclusions while I am still at work. There are things I allow to come to light so that you can see who is genuine and who is not. But there are also things I choose to hide to protect you from burdens you are not yet ready to bear. When you see a door closed, do not assume I am punishing you. Sometimes I am simply locking a counterfeit path, so you will no longer walk into a road that leads to deeper hurt. For I do not only expose the lies outside of you, I also strip away the falsehood within you. the places where you keep telling yourself you are strong, while in truth you are exhausted to the core. I know that justice is a word that frightens many. They fear I will judge them, fear being exposed, fear the light shining into places they want to hide. But my child, my justice does not exist to crush you, it exists to set you free. When I expose deception, it is not to humiliate you, but to free you from the chains of falsehood. Many have lived in pretense for so long that they think it is normal. They fake their smiles, fake their faith, fake their happiness, until they lose the true voice of their own soul. I cannot bear that, because you were not created to wear a mask. When I uncover things, you will see that the truth hurts, but that pain is the incision that lets the pus drain out. Without surgery there can be no healing. Without light you will never know how deep the darkness goes. I do not want you living in false safety, where you think you are fine while you are slowly rotting inside. My child, be thankful for the times I bring the truth to light, even when it costs you something, for that is how I return to you your true dignity, your true peace, and a faith that is pure and undiluted. Yet justice is not only about exposing, it is also about restoring order. After I have cleared away what is rotten, I begin to rebuild. Like a gardener who raises a fence around a good field to keep thieves out, I also raise a spiritual hedge around you, a hedge made of grace, of my word, and of the presence of the Holy Spirit. You do not see it, but the enemy does. They tremble, because I have encamped my angels around your life. Many things that should have crushed you have not, and you are still standing, not because you are strong, but because my hedge has surrounded you. Do not be troubled when I remove certain relationships. Do not be saddened when I cause some people to walk away. I do not do this to isolate you, but to purify the circle that surrounds you. There are people who cannot walk with you into the next season. They belong to the previous leg of the journey and no longer fit the work I am rebuilding. When you find yourself alone, that is a sign that I am raising a hedge reserved only for those whose hearts are ready to step into the season of true blessing. My justice always walks hand in hand with my mercy. I never tear down just to abandon. I tear down so I can rebuild. When I raise a hedge around you, you will feel peace returning to your heart. Not because everything outside has grown calm, but because within you the striving has ceased, the fear has loosened its grip, and the need to fight for yourself has quieted. True peace does not come from the disappearance of your enemies, but from my standing in the midst of the battlefield. From that point on, you will learn how to live quietly, yet powerfully, without needing to argue, without needing to win in the eyes of people. For you will know that I am dealing with things, and you need only walk forward in the stillness of trust. You will come to realize that my justice does not leave you with loss, but refines you into purity. Just as gold must pass through fire to shine, so must your soul pass through testing to become true. When I remove what is false, you will see that what remains in your hands is only what is real. Real fellowship, real faith, real love. And that reality will become the foundation for the new season of grace that is coming. It will not be only a season of blessing, but a season of renewal from within, where I restore to you the true identity of a child of God that you once lost amid the noise of life. My beloved child, after I have searched the house of your heart and cleared out what is false, I do not leave that place empty. For an empty house will soon be occupied again if no rightful owner moves in. Now I step in, not as a stern judge, but as a father returning with tears of love, bringing warmth and new life. I come to restore your true identity, so that you may know who you are in my eyes and stop living like an orphan in a noisy world. From this day on, you will learn again how to see yourself, not through the warped mirror of the world, but through the light that reflects from my heart. You have grown accustomed to living under the labels people have placed on you. failure, weak, not good enough. You have believed those words so deeply that you lost the true voice of your own soul. But I have never called you by those names. When I created you, I engraved upon your soul a different name, the name of one who is loved, redeemed, and belongs to me. I have never changed the way I see you. It is only that you have forgotten to look toward me. My child, the world sees your faults, but I see your potential. The world sees ashes, but I see the seed hidden within them. You are my work in progress, and I will complete it with love. There was a man who once came to me in the middle of the night, named Nicodemus, a teacher of the law, well educated and knowledgeable, yet weary in his soul. He asked, "How can a person be born again when he is old?" And I said to him, "Unless one is born of the Spirit, he cannot see the kingdom of God. Do you see? True renewal does not come from polishing the outside, but from a new birth within. That is when you do not merely change your behavior, but your heart itself is made new. Not by willpower, but by grace. Not by coercion, but by love. The restoration I am working in you is not what the world imagines. The world repairs to make something flawless. I renew you so that you may return to the very form I intended when I created you. I do not want you to become someone else. I want you to become yourself in me. For only when you recognize that you are a child of God will you dare to lift your head and live without fear, without straining to earn acceptance, without acting the part of a good person just to feel valuable. Your true identity does not need to be proven. It is given by me, kept by me, and protected by my cross itself. Do you remember the time I stepped in for the woman caught in the act of adultery? The crowd surrounded her, stones in their hands, voices shouting, "The law says she must die." But I simply stooped down and wrote on the ground. When they kept pressing me, I said, "Let the one among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." Then, one by one, they left. Finally, only the woman and I remained. I asked her, "Has no one condemned you?" She answered, "No one, Lord." I said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go now, and from this moment on, sin no more." You see, I do not deny sin, but I choose to heal before I correct. Because only love can truly change you. You have lived so long in fear of being judged that you started to believe, I am the one holding the stones. But no, I am the one who stepped between you and the crowd, who used my own body to shield you from their blows, and said, I forgive you. The yoke of fear is one of the heaviest chains your soul is carrying. It makes you bow your head when I want you to lift it up. It keeps you silent when I am calling you to speak. It makes you doubt even the promises I have given you. Fear tricks you into thinking I am far away, when in truth it is fear itself that builds the wall between us. And tonight, I have come to break that yoke. You are no longer a slave to fear, for my Holy Spirit dwells in you and bears witness that you are a child of God. I do not want you to pray out of fear, serve out of fear, or live out your faith out of fear. I want you to do everything out of love, for when you love, fear dissolves. When you know you belong to me, you will understand that even my rebukes carry the fragrance of mercy. Do not let fear rule you any longer, my beloved. Do not imagine that I am waiting for you to slip so I can punish you. I do not sit high above with a whip in my hand. I sit beside you, in the house of your heart, waiting for you to look up and smile. I do not want you to avoid me whenever you are weak. I want you to run to me, because it is in those very moments of weakness that I will be strong on your behalf. When I say, I clothe you with a new anointed garment, it means I am giving you the power of a new life. The old garment of shame, guilt, and fear no longer fits you. I wrap you in the robe of grace, the kind of garment only those who have been forgiven can wear. It is a robe that is not torn, not wrinkled, not stained by the dust of this world. It is the sign of complete restoration. But to wear the new garment, you must dare to take off the old one. Many people want to be renewed but cling tightly to old habits, old patterns of thought, old beliefs. I cannot pour fresh oil on a soul that refuses to let go of its ashes. You must learn to lay things down, the burdens of the past, the words of self-condemnation, the lies that tell you you are unworthy. Only when you release them can I place something new in your hands. You will discover that renewal does not come in the noise, but in the stillness of surrender. When you sit quietly, I whisper to you, you are not insignificant. And when you believe that, the Holy Spirit breathes new life into you, making your soul soft again, like soil moistened after the rain. In that soil I will plant new seeds, hope, clarity, and courage. Then, in due season, the flowers of peace will bloom on the very ground that once was covered in ashes. You may not realize it, but day by day I am already renewing you, not through dazzling miracles, but through the smallest details, a word of comfort, a brief moment of calm, a deep sleep after months of restless nights. This is how I work, quietly, steadily, yet surely. My child, do not despise this process. All true restoration takes time. Gold must pass through fire, faith must pass through testing, and the soul must pass through stillness. But I promise you this, you will not walk through it alone. I will hold your hand through every season, every night, every step, until you can look into the mirror and say, I am no longer the fearful one, I am a child of God. Inner renewal is not the end. It is the beginning of a new rhythm of life, where you no longer run to escape, but learn to remain. No longer strive to prove yourself, but learn to trust. No longer depend on feelings, but walk by the Spirit. And when your identity as my child is restored, I will teach you something more, the discipline of grace, so you will know how to guard the flame that has just been lit, so that the light within you will not be snuffed out by the winds of this world. For grace is a gift, but discipline is the fence that protects your blessing, and that, my child, is the next chapter in the journey I am writing with you. When your soul is renewed, peace begins to sprout. But I know that to keep that fragile seed of peace alive amid the chaotic winds of this world, you need something deeper than the first rush of excitement. It is the discipline of abiding. Grace is like an early rain, but discipline is the roof that keeps that rain from washing away. You are not called to experience me once, you are called to walk with me for a lifetime. In a world where everything is constantly shifting, perseverance in me is the evidence that you have truly grown in faith. I have seen many begin with a blazing fire, only to burn out during the very first night of trial. They sing loudly when blessings come, but fall silent when I teach them to wait. My beloved, true love is not measured by emotion, but by endurance. Those who seek me only in blessing will turn away when I correct them, but those who remain with me in both silence and pain will learn that lasting peace does not come from favorable circumstances, but from unshakable union with me. Discipline is not a chain, it is the heartbeat of a soul that has been healed. It keeps you in step with the rhythm of my spirit while the world marches to the beat of desire and noise. My child, learn to slow down, even when the whole world is rushing, for I am not found in haste. I am in the quiet spaces where you pause long enough to hear my whisper in the wind. I know there are moments when you grow weary of maintaining discipline amid countless distractions, social media calling you, the news pulling at you, anxieties pressing on you. Yet it is precisely when you choose to turn down the volume of the world to listen to me that your soul is recreated. Do not think of discipline as a burden. It is a grace that has been trained. Just as the heart must learn to beat in rhythm to keep the body alive, the soul must learn to keep the rhythm of prayer, stillness, scripture, and rest in me. If you do not keep that rhythm, your soul will drift. If you never stop, you will forget where to find me. I am not looking for those who run the fastest. I am looking for those who can walk in step with me. So do not envy the speed of others. Steadfast discipline does not demand that you be impressive. It only asks that you not let go of my hand. When the world celebrates efficiency, I am searching for faithfulness. When people demand quick results, I ask only this: will you remain with me? Once, I was with my disciples on the sea, and a storm arose. They were terrified while I slept. In their panic, they shook me awake and cried, "Teacher, don't you care that we are perishing?" I rose, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Be still, be quiet." Then I looked at them and asked, "Why are you afraid? Where is your faith?" You see, I did not rebuke them for being weak, but for not remaining in faith. They had heard me teach, they had seen miracles, yet when the wind rose, they forgot that I was still in the boat. In the same way, when the storms of life rise around you, you think I am asleep, but in truth, I am teaching you the discipline of remaining calm in the tempest. That stillness is not indifference. It is the strength of a soul that has learned to trust even when it does not understand. When you know how to rest in my presence, you will realize that storms never have authority over those who lean on me. Discipline is also learning to be patient with my timing. You live in an age where everything can come with a single tap, and so you easily forget that eternal things always arrive slowly. I do not bless you merely to make you happy for a moment. I bless you to establish you for a lifetime. There are gifts I have not yet given you, not because you are unworthy, but because your roots are not yet deep enough to carry what I am about to place in your hands. I once planted a vine, and before it bore fruit, I pruned it many times. The vine thought I was harming it, but in truth I was helping it grow deeper roots. In the same way, when I delay, remember, every season of waiting is a season in which I am deepening your faith. And when the season of true blessing comes, you will no longer tremble at change, because you will know that everything unfolds in my rhythm. My child, the noise of this age can make you feel as though you must always be doing something just to avoid being left behind. But in my kingdom, stillness is an act of courage. The world measures worth by volume and visibility. I measure worth by the depth of your abiding. There will be days when you feel nothing, when your prayers seem dry, when your heart feels cold. Do not be quick to assume I have gone far from you. It is precisely in those days that genuine faith is being forged. To love me in moments of emotion is easy. To love me in silence is the highest form of faithfulness. When you choose to remain, even when your heart no longer feels the thrill, you are loving me with a mature soul. The discipline of abiding is not merely about routines. It is a posture of life. It is choosing to turn your heart toward me each morning, even when your mind is crowded. It is choosing to forgive, even when others have not repented. It is choosing gentleness in the midst of anger. It is choosing to believe when everything is quiet. And these small choices, you know, are the very stones I use to build a spiritual stronghold around you. My beloved, endurance is not about going far, it is about going together. When the world cries, "Move faster," I simply say, "Remain in me." For remaining in me is the very way you will go the farthest. The discipline of the soul does not make you rigid. It allows you to live freely within the boundaries of grace, where you are not swept away by the world's noise, but walk by the gentle rhythm of the Holy Spirit. And when you have learned that rhythm, you will see that you do not need to prove yourself to have peace. You do not need to stand out to have value. You do not need to rush. Yet you will not be late for the plans I have prepared. For you are in me, and I am in you. That is the secret of steadfast discipline that no power can break. Just as a seed must stay hidden in the dark soil to sprout, your soul must remain in me in order to grow. And when I see that you are steady, deep, and at rest, I will call you out of the shadow of waiting to begin living in holiness and eternity-mindedness, where love has boundaries, blessing is tied to calling, and your light becomes a reflection for this world. For discipline is not the destination, it is the bridge that leads you into true holiness, where you learn to love rightly and live for what will last forever, my child. When your soul has been healed, when you have learned to remain in me, then it is time for you to step out, not to blend into the crowd, but to shine in the darkness. I did not create you to disappear into the noise. I called you to become light, but light cannot shine if you let your life blend into the colors of the night. That is why the journey of renewal must lead to this point, separation and holiness. Not so that you may feel above anyone, but so that you may live differently as one who belongs to the kingdom of heaven in the midst of this world. Holiness does not mean withdrawing from people. It means withdrawing from the corruption of the heart. It is not a wall that keeps you from loving, but a boundary that keeps love pure. You are called to love, but not with a blind love that sacrifices your peace just to please others. To love as I love is to understand the limits of compassion, to know when to draw near and when to step back, so that you do not sink into what drags your soul down. For love without boundaries is love without life. You cannot bring light if you allow darkness to slip into your heart. My child, forgiveness does not mean permitting abuse, and kindness does not mean closing your eyes to sin. I am teaching you to love as I love to love with all your heart, yet without indulging what is wrong. To love to the very end, yet without letting your soul be shattered by toxic bonds. Once, I passed through the region of Samaria and stopped beside a well at midday. A woman came, hesitant, avoiding my gaze. I looked at her and said, "Give me a drink." Those simple words opened a conversation that would change her life forever. When I said, "You have had 5 husbands, and the man you now live with is not your husband," she was stunned. Yet I did not speak to shame her. I spoke so that she might be set free from a chain of unholy bonds. And when the living water flowed into her heart, she left her water jar behind, ran back to the village, and cried out, "Come, see a man who told me everything I ever did." You see, holiness does not make you shrink back, it makes you come fully alive. When you live in the truth, you yourself become a fresh spring for the thirsty, not because you are perfect, but because you have truly been washed clean. This world is always trying to dissolve you into itself, persuading you that a little compromise is harmless, that going along with the crowd is safe. But I tell you, you were not born to disappear into the masses. You were chosen to stand in the gap, to distinguish, to be a bridge between the temporary and the eternal. And to do that, you must be willing to embrace holy loneliness. That is the cost of those who carry the light. Light cannot remain in the midst of darkness without disturbing that darkness. There will be those who do not understand you, those who distance themselves from you, those who criticize you because of that difference. But my child, remember, I draw near to those who dare to live differently. Your difference does not lie in your outward appearance, but in the choices you make. When others choose revenge, you choose forgiveness. When others chase after praise, you choose integrity. When others choose the easy way, you choose faithfulness. It is these quiet choices that mark you as mine, and not as belonging to the world. My child, holiness is not a garment you wear on the outside. It is a fragrance that flows from within. When the Holy Spirit dwells in you, He teaches you what true love is, what attachments are false, which relationships build you up, and which bonds drain your soul. Let me teach you how to love with boundaries, boundaries not to shut others out, but to protect what is precious inside you. For if you do not learn to set limits, you will slowly run dry, and one day your kindness will turn into exhaustion, and your compassion into bitterness. I do not desire that for you. I want you to love in peace, to love and yet still keep yourself. Those who truly love are those who place me at the center of every relationship. When I am in the midst, love is no longer possession but support, no longer a binding chain, but a pair of wings that lifts you up. My child, now I want to open your eyes to see beyond what is fleeting. You do not live merely for today, you live for eternity. Every act you do, every word you speak, every choice you make bears an eternal imprint. The world measures success by fame and recognition, but I measure it by a heart that knows how to surrender. When you understand eternal value, you will no longer rush after things that quickly pass away. You will cease to be enslaved by what people think, and instead begin to ask, Lord, does this please you? For every moment you live in my will, you are storing up treasure in heaven, treasure that moth and rust cannot destroy, and that time cannot fade. Do not be afraid when you feel out of place in this world. You were created to belong to another homeland, a place where there are no tears, no deceit, where everything I have promised will be fulfilled in full. When you set your heart on eternity, you will see that every loss on earth is only preparation for a greater glory that I am keeping for you. My child, a new season of grace is not a season of mere feelings, but a season of mission. When I put your house in order, it is not so that you may rest complacently in peace, but so that you may become a dwelling place for me, and from there become a refuge for others. True blessing does not end with your own salvation. It is fulfilled when you use your very life to bring salvation to others. Every time you step out, your words, your way of living, your gaze, all of it becomes my sermon in the midst of this world. The world does not need more people who shout my name loudly. It needs people who live honestly with the light within them. And as you live this way, I promise you, heaven will record every step you take. For you no longer live for yourself, but for my kingdom. My beloved child, the night I rebuilt the house is not merely a night of searching and change. It is the beginning of an entirely new life. From a ruined house, I have raised up a place full of light. From a once heavy heart, I have caused living waters to flow. From fear, I have brought forth courage. From loneliness, I have sown the reality of my presence. Now you are no longer the old person. Your house belongs to me, the light within you is mine, and you yourself are the lamp I have set on a hill so that many might find their way home. My child, live not so that you may be remembered, but so that I may see. Love not in order to be loved in return, but so that my kingdom may be enlarged through your life. When you learn to love with boundaries, to live in holiness, and to set your heart on eternity, you will understand, precisely at the moment you think you have lost, you have in fact been found. And when the final night of your earthly life draws to a close, I, the master of the house, will open the gates of heaven and say, "Well done, my faithful child. Enter into the eternal joy of your Lord." Then the house I have restored in your heart on earth will become a radiant temple in heaven, and I will dwell with you forever. My beloved child, I know that in your life there have been faces that slowly drew near, appearing to carry goodwill, yet hiding within themselves cold calculations. They borrowed the language of closeness to steal your peace. They used sweet words to cover deceit. They held your hand while their lips spoke of love, even as their hearts sought only to take advantage. I have seen it all, even when you could not bear to see, and tonight I have come to bring true light to all that is murky. The curtain of falsehood will be pulled back. Deceitful smiles will have nowhere left to hide. My light will shine to the very depths of the schemer's soul, so that you may see them as they truly are, no more covering, no more cosmetic words to disguise them. From now on, you will no longer be tangled in double-faced relationships, no longer have to ask yourself why you have loved with all your heart and received only hurt in return. The truth I reveal may wound you, but it is the pain of liberation. For sometimes only when you see clearly do you realize you have loved the wrong person, trusted in the wrong place, and placed your faith in those who were never worthy of it. I do not want you to continue living in that sweet deception. Tonight I set before you the mirror of truth, a mirror that reflects not only the hearts of others, but also your own. My child, I know there have been times when you tried to defend others in your mind, telling yourself, perhaps they didn't mean it, perhaps I misunderstood, but I want you to understand, goodness should never become an excuse for blindness. I did not create you to be a doormat for others to trample on, nor did I place compassion in you so the world could turn it into a tool. I have given you a tender heart, but I have also given you wisdom to discern who deserves to remain. When I expose deception, it is not because I want you to hate, but so that you may learn to love the right people in the right way. True love must walk hand in hand with clarity. Those who only come when they need you, those who seek you merely to fill their own emptiness, yet never care about the emptiness within you, I will cause you to see them for who they are. I will not leave you wandering in a forest of fake smiles any longer, and when your eyes are opened, do not be afraid, for that is the first step toward freedom. I see everything, my child. I see you when you are betrayed yet remain silent, when you are misunderstood yet offer no defense, when you help in secret and no one remembers. I see every tear that falls on your pillow in those long nights no one else knows about. You wonder where I am in those moments. I am there, in the very midst of the storm, though you did not recognize me. I have counted every tear, and each one I am turning into a seed for a new season of blessing. Not one of your sorrows is meaningless. There are things I have allowed you to walk through not because I abandoned you, but because I wanted you to know that I alone can protect you from those you yourself chose to trust. I do not overlook the way people have treated you. Every wounding word, every lie spoken about you, every contemptuous glance, I have seen them all. Yet instead of forcing you to fight for yourself, I want you to place everything in my hands. For I am your wall of protection, your shield, your strong fortress. You do not need to battle those who hate you, because I will fight for you. No weapon, no scheme formed against you will prevail. Every accusation, every insult, every plot conceived in the shadows, I will bring them all low before my righteousness. When I say, enough, not a single voice will be able to rise up against you. They will see clearly my hand upon your life, and they will understand that to oppose you is pointless, because you belong to me. But my child, my justice is not only to restore fairness, it is to teach you how to let go. I want you to learn to stand still and let me act. You do not have to speak for yourself, for when you remain silent in trust, I will speak on your behalf. Your silence is not weakness. It is a powerful declaration that you know who truly reigns over this battle. I will use the very things others intended to harm you as the steps that lift you higher, and when I do, everyone will have to acknowledge that no one can touch the one I cover. You once thought that silence meant losing, but no, my child, silence in me is the weapon of the wise. It is not avoidance, it is trust. When I tell you to stand still, it is not because I am doing nothing, but because I want you to witness my own hand at work. You will see every slanderous word fade away on its own, every person who harmed you exposed by the truth, and for every door they shut in your face, I, myself, will open another before their very eyes. I do not only desire to protect you, I long to restore you and cause you to rise. My blessing is not merely the absence of hurt, it is entrance into a new season of grace. When everything old has collapsed, I will raise up what is new. When all the old paths are blocked, I will open doors that have never existed before. My child, the prayers you thought I had forgotten, the dreams you laid down because of pain, I have kept them all in the palm of my hand. And now, as the appointed time comes, I will cause all those promises to blossom at once. You will no longer have to knock on others' doors seeking a place to stand, for I will open the door I have ordained for you, a door that no one can shut, because it is not opened by human keys. You have been faithful when no one was watching. You have chosen love when you had every right to be angry. I have remembered every one of those choices, and now I will repay you by granting a blessing so surprising that others will be left in awe. That blessing is not a passing material gain, but a deep grace that transforms your entire life. Those who once mocked you will have to bow their heads and acknowledge my hand upon you. They will clearly see that it was I who called you, not you who chose yourself, and what I am doing in you will make them understand that my grace cannot be bought, cannot be faked, cannot be reached by manipulation or schemes. You do not need to prove your worth, because your very life will be the evidence. They will see you stand firm where they thought you would fall, see you honored in the very places where they once humiliated you, see you shine with the light I have placed within you, not by the favor of any other hand. My child, I will do more than you ask. I will open paths you did not even know existed. The plans you thought had died within you I will breathe back to life. I will give you new connections, sincere friends, and companions who carry the same heart I have placed in you. They will not use you, but will walk with you in the same direction. I will give you a new land, a place where you will not only be safe, but also grow in the way I have ordained for you from the very beginning. Tonight, as you look back on what is past, do not regret those who have left. They had to go, so that space in the house of your heart could be cleared for those I am about to send. Do not try to hold on to what I have already removed, for everything I take away is to prepare you for something better. Every time you cried, you thought you were losing, but in truth, I was redirecting the flow of blessing. What you thought was an ending was only the transition into a new season, a season of quiet glory. My beloved, do not fear my exposing work. When I expose, it is so that you may see clearly, not to shame you. Truth will not harm you. It will only cleanse you from the stains of deception. And when you stand in my light, you will see that none of your past wounds were meaningless. They have become the stepping stones for you to rise, the places where I have sown seeds for the coming harvest of blessing. From here on, you will walk under my complete protection. Malicious words will no longer pierce your heart, and those who once wounded you will no longer hold power over your mind. You will walk lightly, not because everything has become easier, but because you have laid every burden upon my shoulders, and I, the one who never grows weary, will carry them for you. Then you will understand that everything I have allowed was never to push you down, but to lift you out of what did not belong to you. And when you stand in that higher place, look back and see, it was the darkness that drove you to seek the light. It was the pain that brought you to seek me. You have lost nothing. You have only been taught who is true and who is false, who is meant to remain and who must go. My child, be at peace. For tonight is not only a night of exposing falsehood, but the dawn of blessing. And when my light shines through your life, those who once doubted will know that you are chosen, you are kept, you are loved, not because you are perfect, but because you belong to me. My beloved child, tonight is not just a fleeting moment in time, but a sacred beginning in the journey of restoration I have appointed for you. While darkness covers the outside, I am at work in the deepest places of your soul. Every hidden corner of your mind, every old room in the house of your heart is being touched by me, gently yet surely. I am beginning the work of restoration, but wholeness will not appear in an instant. Every true blessing needs time to take root and bear fruit. Do not hurry, do not urge me to move according to the rhythm of this world, for I am not ruled by human clocks. Everything I do bears the imprint of perfection. Not early, not late, but at precisely the moment when you are ready to receive it. Keep walking forward, even if the road ahead is still veiled in clouds, For faith is not born in days of clarity, but is forged in nights when I seem silent. Do not lose heart when you see nothing moving yet. Do not doubt when I still allow the door to remain closed. In my silence there is a plan, in my delay there is a reason. I am working beneath the surface, in depths your eyes cannot reach. Every prayer you have ever uttered has not fallen into the void. I have kept them in golden bowls of heaven. Every tear that has fallen from your eyes I have counted. Every weary breath you have sighed in lonely nights I have heard. Nothing in you is meaningless, for I use all of it to weave the tapestry of grace over your life. When you remain steadfast, you are sowing. When you stay faithful, you are tending the soil, and one day, in the season I choose, you will reap with a joy no hand can steal from you. You once dreamed, yet many of those dreams died in your heart before they could sprout. You once prayed, yet it seemed the answers never came. You once loved, yet were wounded by the very thing you trusted most. My child, I know it all. I have seen every time you closed the door of your heart for fear of being hurt again, every time you stopped hoping because you believed you were unworthy. But tonight, I come to breathe new life into what seemed dead. The dreams I planted in you have never truly vanished. They have only been sleeping, waiting for the day I call them forth. I will awaken them with my own voice, and when they come back to life, you will understand that everything I promise is always fulfilled in my time, never earlier, but also never late. I know you are afraid you are not strong enough, afraid of taking the wrong step, afraid of being disappointed one more time. Fear is the most subtle chain, shrinking your soul and dimming the light within you. But my child, fear does not come from me. I have not given you a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power, of love, and of a sound mind. Tonight I come to untie every knot of fear, to bring down every wall you have built around your heart. I will replace trembling with peace, doubt with assurance, torment with light. You do not need to shiver before the unknown, for I am already in your future before you arrive there. Every step you take lies in my hand, and I have written the script of your life in everlasting love. You once thought you were alone, yet I have never left you, not even for a single breath. When you sat weeping by yourself, I was there. When you walked among the crowds with an empty heart, I was still there. When you thought I was silent, I was in fact speaking in another way, through events that forced you to pause, through people I brought into your life and then removed, through closed doors that taught you to trust me for a better one. You could not see me, but I saw you. You could not reach out and touch me, but I was holding your hand all along. I have never abandoned you, and I never will. I am carrying out a cleansing, not only in the circumstances around you, but in your very heart. I am pulling up the roots that have drained your strength: bitterness, regret, resentment, comparison, and self-contempt. They have grown deep, causing your soul to wither, even while your face still wore a smile. I have not come merely to patch things up. I have come to uproot completely. Only when the soil of your heart is cleared can the seeds of blessing I sow truly grow. My child, do not be afraid when I prune and cut away. Everything I take, I replace with something better. Every empty space I leave, I myself will fill with my presence. You will see that when I remove your fear, a new spiritual vitality will flood your being. You will no longer be paralyzed by the past, no longer crushed by criticism, no longer shaking when you look toward the future. Instead, you will walk with the boldness of one who knows they are loved, chosen, and protected. You will speak, act, and live as one who bears my image, no longer bowing under shame, but lifting your head in grace. For you will have learned that true strength is not in being fearless, but in knowing who walks with you through every fear. My child, let me finish my work. Do not run away when I touch the places that hurt. Sometimes, in order to heal, I must press on old wounds. Sometimes, for you to be free, I must lead you to face what you once fled. But do not be afraid. My hand is firm, yet full of compassion. I do not cause you pain to terrify you, but to cut away the poison that has clung to your soul for so long. When this process is complete, you will feel so light, it will seem as if you are flying. When the light of dawn breaks, you will realize that something inside you has changed. The whisper of fear will be gone, the weight of resentment lifted. In your heart there will be a strange peace, a peace not dependent on circumstances, not swayed by the shifting weather of life. It comes from me like a river that never ceases to flow, cooling and refreshing your soul. You will no longer search for your worth in others, for you will know that I have set your value by the blood of my only Son. You will no longer need anyone to prove that you are good enough, for I have already called you the Beloved. I do not only want you to be free, I want you to walk in the power of that freedom. When I remove the chains, do not go back to bind yourself with memories. When I open the door, do not stay inside because you are afraid to step out. Go, bold, strong, yet gentle, for you carry within you the mark of grace. You will step into new territories, new relationships, new doors that I have long prepared. You will see that everything that once collapsed in your past was just clearing the ground for something more solid to be built. And as you go, do not forget that I am right beside you. I will lead you through misty valleys, through gray, rainy days, and through stretches of road that seem meaningless. Yet in every stage, when you look back, you will see my footprints alongside yours. No step will have been taken alone, no night will have been without hope, for I, the one who called you, am the one who will bring you to the finish. Tonight, as I move in your house, I am not merely repairing what is broken around you, but carrying out a great work of renewal within you. I am rebuilding the foundations of your faith, reordering the landscape of your emotions, and renewing the breath of your spirit. You will no longer live as one exhausted and merely trying to survive, but as one revived in the life of the Holy Spirit. All bitterness will fade like mist under the sun. Every resentment will fall like the last leaves of autumn, and every fear will give way to a deep, strong, unconditional love. My child, let me complete the work tonight. Let my light pierce every corner you have tried to hide. Let my love touch the places you believed beyond saving, and then you will see that you are not only healed, but transformed. You will realize that peace is not a destination, but a companion, that faith is not a strain of effort, but the natural response of a heart that knows who I am, and that love is not something you must fight to obtain, but a gift I pour out on you, day after day. When morning comes, you will wake up utterly changed. Your spirit will be fresh, your heart will grow warm again, and your eyes will shine with life. You will walk in the midst of this world yet not belong to it. You will speak among the noise and still not lose the stillness within. You will become living proof that when I renovate a house, I do not only change the roof and the walls, I renew the very one who lives inside. And as you live in the freedom I give, the whole world will see me through you. Tonight is the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter of freedom, peace, and boldness. You have walked through fear, and now you are stepping into glory. Believe that from this moment on, every day you live will stand as a witness to my unchanging love. For I have begun this work, and I, the faithful one, will bring it to completion until the very last day. My beloved child, listen deeply within yourself, because what I am about to say is not merely a promise for your spirit, but a complete recreation of your life. When my light enters in, it does not only brighten the room of your soul, it shines into every corner of your life, from relationships to work, from health to finances, from the things you can see to the things you have never dared to dream of. Everything will begin to move, not because the world has changed, but because I am renewing you from the inside, and when your spirit is made new, The world around you cannot help but change with it. You will realize that the things which once caused you pain will no longer have the power to defeat you. The things which once made you afraid will gradually lose their grip on you, for I am reordering everything within you so that blessing will not only touch the surface but go deep into the very roots of your life. But I also know, my child, that there will be seasons when you feel as though you are walking through a barren land. Everything seems to slow down, doors appear closed, and the dreams you carry seem to be delayed. Do not be alarmed, for this is not failure. It is the moment when I am digging your foundations deeper. Just as a seed must endure being buried before it can rise into the light, you too are being buried in faith so that you may grow up into glory. You are not being forgotten, you are being prepared. Every tear you shed, every whispered prayer in the secret place is noted by me, for I know well the price of faithfulness. Do not measure your worth by your circumstances, for your story has not yet reached its ending. You are only passing through a dark chapter, but the book of your life is written by my own hand, and I never end a story in defeat. I hear your sighs. I see your heart trembling because of what your eyes behold. But my child, do not let the temporary things of this world make you forget the eternal plan I am weaving. You see the storm, but I see the other shore. You see the long night, but I see the dawn about to break. I allow the winds to rise, not to drown you, but to train your soul to become strong, supple, and steadfast in faith. I want you to know that true faith is not born on bright sunny days, but is forged in nights of rain and wind, and it is precisely when you stand still in the midst of the waves that I am at work. You do not see it, but I am moving what no one else can move. I am arranging paths that seemed completely blocked. I am opening doors that no person can ever shut. My child, do not lose heart because of the trials that are coming, for it is in those very trials that I am training the strength within you. You once thought yourself weak, but I see in you the potential of a conqueror. You will not merely survive the storm. You will emerge from it with steadier feet, clearer eyes, and a wiser heart. You will no longer tremble before the future, because you will know that your future rests in my hands. I am using what you call failure to teach you how to stand firm. I am turning wounds into lessons, tears into seeds, and pain into nourishment for a new season of grace. And my child, when I act, nothing can stand in the way. There will be things that unfold beyond your understanding, doors that swing open without your striving, people who appear at the exact moment you need them. This is not coincidence. It is my orchestration. I am the one who works all things together for your good. You will look back and realize that the detours you walked were never a waste. Each bend in the road was part of the melody I composed to lead you into a glorious ending. You will see that the pains of yesterday no longer frighten you, for they have become evidence that my grace truly is sufficient for you. My dear child, I know there are nights when you bury your head and whisper, "Lord, are you still there?" And I want you to know, I have never left. Even when you sit in darkness, I am right beside you, quietly turning things around that you cannot yet see. When you feel most alone, I am covering you with my presence. You cannot hear me, but I am still whispering. Do not be afraid, for I am here. You cannot see me, but my hand is still resting on your shoulder. I am not a father who only appears when you are strong. I am the Father who stays when you are weak. Do not fear what you do not yet know, for it is in that very uncertainty that I am teaching you to walk by faith and not by sight. If I showed you the whole road ahead, you would have no need to trust. But when I allow you to see only one small step at a time, that is when you learn to hold my hand tightly. And along that journey, you will discover that true strength does not lie in what you know, but in whom you know. I know there are moments when you grow tired, when you want to let go, to stop trying, to let everything drift as it will. But my child, do not let go of my promises. For my words are not passing winds, they are solid rock. I am not one who promises merely to speak. I am the one who promises and fulfills. When I say I will do it, it means I have already begun to act. Even if you do not yet see the result, trust that everything is unfolding according to my divine order. The storm you are facing today has not come to destroy you, but to awaken the strength that has been sleeping within you. When the storm has passed, you will not be the same as before. I will bring you out of the ashes, brush off the dust of the road, and place new wings upon you so that you may soar higher. And on the day you look back, you will smile and say, "If not for the storm, I would never have seen the power of the Lord in my life." My child, I am not angry with you. My anger is not directed at you, but at the forces of darkness that have tried to steal your peace and your faith. But tonight, I, the Almighty, rise up. I am silent no longer. I speak to the winds. Enough. I say to the enemy, you will no longer lay a hand on my child. I break every chain that has bound you, every yoke that has weighed upon your soul, every darkness that has covered your life. This is the night I reclaim authority over your story. No power can stand against what I have decreed. Be at peace, for this battle does not belong to you. It belongs to me. You do not need to fight to prove your strength. You only need to stand still in my presence and watch me move. I will lead you through deep waters and across the chasms, and when you come out, you will not carry the smell of smoke, only the fragrance of victory. My child, believe that every one of your wounds will become a testimony of my power, and every pain will turn into a vision through which others will see my grace. And I say to you, remain. Remain in my love, in my presence, in my light, for only in remaining will you find fullness of joy. When you choose to stay even while the winds blow strong, it is proof that you have matured. Do not let the noise of fear and doubt throw you off balance. The world may confuse you, but if you keep your heart still in me, you will not be shaken. Remember, faith is not loud, but it is always powerful. Tonight, I am doing a new thing in your life, something even you cannot imagine. The old fragments are being gathered by me, not to rebuild what once was, but to create something entirely new, a story that has never yet been told. You will no longer live under the name, the one who fell, but under the name, the one whom the Lord has raised up. Miracles will unfold not only in great events, but in every breath, every small moment, when you realize that I am still here, still loving, still working. And when I have finished my work in you, you will see that every promise has come to pass. Every dream you thought had died has come back to life. For I am Jehovah, your God, the one who never forgets what he has spoken. When I have declared it, no one can overturn it. When I have promised it, no one can stop it. My child, tonight is not just another night in your life's history. It is the night of beginnings, the night of transformation, the night I proclaim that victory belongs to me, and you are the one who shares in that victory. Rest in me, for your peace does not come from everything being calm, but from knowing that I am still in control. Do not fix your eyes on what is seen. Look with the eyes of faith, for what I am doing will so amaze you that you will no longer ask, Lord, where are you? Instead, with tears in your eyes, you will softly say, Lord, you have been here all along, and you have never left me for even a single moment, my beloved child. Now that you have stepped out of the dark night of correction, I want you to know that the door opening before you does not merely lead into a new phase of life, but into a sacred season of change, a season in which everything I have sown in you will begin to sprout and bear fruit. Every trial, every tear, every moment you felt abandoned, none of it was meaningless. They were foundation stones I quietly laid, preparing you for a journey greater deeper, and more glorious than anything you have ever imagined. What is coming will not simply be a shift in circumstances, but a transformation at the very root of your soul, so that you may carry within yourself the fullness of my image. You once thought the hard season was the end, but my child, that very season has been the gate into a new outpouring of grace. Everything I am doing now is not just to refresh the outer form of your life, but to change the very structure of your heart, making it resilient and able to contain the blessings that are about to be poured out. You are no longer who you once were. You are being remade, reshaped in the fire of faith, so that I may pour into you a treasure that others could not bear. The world sees upheaval, but I see a masterpiece nearing completion, a soul being refined like pure gold in the furnace. My child, I know there are days when you ask yourself, Lord, how far have I gone? How much longer must I endure? But listen to my words in the stillness. You are not standing still, you are being prepared. Every step you take, whether slow or fast, is held within the perfect plan I wrote for you before you even existed. My silence is not absence, but the pause of a father watching his child learn to grow. You have learned to trust even when you cannot see the way. You have learned to stand even when your legs were trembling, and now you are learning to walk, no longer in fear, but in a faith that has matured. I am leading you into a new land, not a land of comfort, but a land of maturity and fruitfulness. There, you will no longer have to prove yourself, for I will be the one who proves you. You will not need to argue, because my presence in you will be the evidence. But to get there, you must learn to be still amid the many noises, to remain steadfast in the midst of constant change, because this world will never cease trying to pull your focus away. The temptations you see, the invitations you hear, they do not come from nowhere. They are crafted to test where your heart truly belongs. The world will promise you comfort, success, and praise, but my child, behind that false light lies an abyss that dries out your soul. You must understand that anything that comes easily without me is a snare. Those sweet things that do not flow from the Holy Spirit are only bitter honey wrapped in sugar. Do not let yourself be deceived by the approval of the majority, for true light will always stand in opposition to darkness. I have called you to walk against the current, to live in this world without blending into it. I do not want you to lose the purity of your soul just to be liked or applauded. Human acceptance is but a passing breath, but my gaze is what keeps you standing firm. My child, there will be times when I allow storms to come, not to harm you, but to refine your heart. I will let you stand in the midst of the world's invitations and hear my whisper, you belong to me. For it is only in adversity that you truly know what remains when everything else fades away. When you choose me among many other options, that is when heaven smiles. Do not be afraid when you find yourself lonely because you choose holiness. Do not fear when you see others rushing ahead while you remain quiet and steady. I did not call you to run a race of comparison, but to endure with perseverance. In my kingdom, those who know how to wait are the ones who truly overcome. I know how easily your heart is moved by praise and how deeply it is hurt by criticism. But I am teaching you how to live without being governed by external voices. You must learn to hear me more clearly than you hear others, to trust my words more than your feelings, for feelings change, but my word does not. Let my word become the anchor that holds you in this whirlwind age. When you stand on my word, every storm will only drive the roots of your faith deeper. I have placed within you a quiet strength that is only revealed when everything else is stripped away. Stay awake, for I am not only changing your circumstances, I am positioning you for your calling. The world is thirsty, and you have been chosen to become a stream for others. But water cannot flow from a vessel that is still cracked. That is why I am healing your soul, so that this living water can flow out without being lost. I am lifting you up, not so that you may be glorified, but so that I may be seen through you. You will become a voice of peace in the midst of chaos, a hand of mercy in the midst of hatred, a lamp of faith in the night of this world. The world will try to define you by achievements, numbers, and the brightness of the spotlight, but I define you by how much you reflect me. Do not let yourself be swept into the cycle of comparison. Slow down and let the light within you grow deeper, not necessarily brighter to human eyes. When you choose to walk with me, you may lose some things others consider success, but you will gain what they cannot grasp, an unshakable peace. And that peace will be a testimony stronger than any sermon. My child, prepare your heart for a new season. I am about to open doors that you could not even imagine before, but I do not open them for your satisfaction. I open them for your service. Every blessing I place in your hands is not a reward for your effort, but a trust for your mission. When I give much, I also ask much, because I trust that you are ready to live for something greater than yourself. Those whom I love, I refine with fire, and now that fire has shaped you into one who can carry light without fear of being consumed. Do not be afraid to step out, even when you cannot see the whole path. I do not need you to know everything. I only desire that you trust that my hand is holding you tightly. You will walk through bends in the road and through dark forests, but my light will not depart from you. Each step you take is a declaration to the darkness. I belong to the light, and as you keep walking faithfully, you will come to see what I have promised from the beginning, that every trial was only a step leading you into fullness. My child, in the days to come, the winds may grow stronger, the noise louder, and the temptations more subtle. But do not tremble, for I, who am in you, am greater than he who is in the world. You are not fighting alone. When you are weary, lift up your eyes, and I will be your rest. When you are confused, read my word, and it will be your compass. When you are weak, whisper my name, for at the simple mention of Jesus, the darkness must retreat. You will no longer live merely to survive, but to influence. For what I am doing in you today is not only for you, but for the many souls that will be touched through you. And when you look back, you will see clearly that every piece of your journey had a purpose. Every tear that ever fell was a seed that sprouted into joy. Every wound that once bled has now become an opening through which my light shines. You will see that I did not allow a single thing without a purpose of restoration. The changes that are coming will not break you. They will lift you up. I am not only renewing your life, I am renewing the world through you. Therefore, stand firm, keep your heart straight before me, and do not bow to fear. The old season is closed. A new season is opening, a season of maturity, a season of glory, a season of multiplied grace. My beloved, I know you are tired. I know you have waited long, but it is precisely in the days when you feel the most still that I am working the most powerfully. Keep your heart soft, your ears attentive, and your eyes fixed on me. Do not let the noise of life choke out my whisper, for as long as you keep your gaze on me, every turmoil around you will shrink in size. You will realize that every change, whether fierce or gentle, is but my footsteps leading you along the path of eternity. My child, keep going. You are not walking into the future alone, for I myself, the one who created you, who restored the house of your heart, who rekindled the light in your soul, I will go before you, I will be with you, and I will complete every word I have spoken, and when you reach the end of the journey, you will smile, for you will understand. All these changes were never meant to take you away from yourself, but to bring you back to the very person I designed you to be from the beginning. My beloved child, there will be seasons when you feel like a traveler crossing a desert, surrounded only by hollow laughter and deceptive lights. You will look around and see many walking broad, dazzling roads, overflowing with promises of success, happiness, and pleasure, while you find yourself on a narrow, uneven, and lonely path. There will be moments when your heart trembles, wondering if you have taken the wrong way, wondering if this faithfulness is worth holding on to in a world that changes so quickly. But I say to you, do not let loneliness give birth to doubt, for in the very moments when you feel the most out of place, that is when my light is seen most clearly through you. I know that being different sometimes wounds you, because the world does not understand what I have sown in your heart. But remember, you were not created to be accepted. You were sent. I have placed in you a standard that does not belong to earth, but to heaven. My child, light was never made to blend into darkness, but to drive darkness away. Do not let the desire to be liked cause you to lose what I have anointed over your life. The world will not cease to woo you with alluring promises. They will say that truth is outdated, that righteousness is a burden, that the principles I have taught you only make you fall behind in a progressive age. They will claim that kindness is weakness, that humility is failure, that faith is naive. But my child, do not forget, truth never needs the majority's agreement to remain true. It stands firm because it flows from me, the one who does not change, though the ages shift. They may mock you, laugh at you, and consider you foolish, but as long as you are in me, you are standing in life. While they are chasing mirages, sin will always find a way to dress itself in the clothing of freedom, but behind that so-called freedom lie chains. It will make you think you are flying when in reality you are falling. It will give you the sensation of living to the fullest, while in truth it is trading your soul for a few fleeting breaths. My child, lies will grow more and more subtle. The world will make what is wrong appear attractive and what is right seem extreme. They will say that everyone has their own truth, that there is no need for a God to teach them how to live, that freedom means the absence of all boundaries. But I tell you, true freedom exists only in obedience. For human beings were not created to govern their own souls apart from me, but to walk in the light of their Creator. When you step outside my guidance, you do not become freer. You only find yourself locked in a more refined prison, where the chains are not made of iron, but of desires, the fear of being left behind, and dependence on the world's approval. My child, I see the weariness in your heart. I see you striving to live rightly in a world that belittles what is right. I see you swallowing your tears when you are misunderstood, see you staying silent when others mock your faith. But believe me, every tear of faithfulness has eternal value. No sacrifice made for me is ever in vain. You are not forgotten. You are being recorded in books the world knows nothing about, the books of those who chose faithfulness while others compromised. You think I am far away, but in truth I am walking right beside you, step by step on the narrow path you are taking. Every time you choose to refuse what is wrong, you cause heaven to rejoice. Every time you choose silence instead of argument, kindness instead of bitterness, you make the darkness tremble. The world will tell you that if you do not seize every opportunity, you will be left behind. But I say to you, every true opportunity that comes from me will never require you to trade your soul. Others may gain fame quickly, but do not be envious. For anything built on deceit will not stand for long. Look to their end. It is as faint as the morning mist. But the faithful stand firm like a tree planted by streams of water. The enemy will whisper in your ear that I am slow, that I do not care, that you are missing out on what is good. But my child, the best things never rush. I am teaching you to walk in the rhythm of the kingdom of heaven, where everything unfolds not according to your schedule, but according to my wisdom. Look at those who are chasing after money, fame, and pleasure. They think they are moving forward, but in reality they are running in circles around the empty pit within themselves. The faster they run, the farther they are from peace. But you, if you will simply walk slowly with me, you will see that each day is a step closer to the light. Do not compare your journey to anyone else's, for I do not measure you by speed, but by perseverance. Righteousness is not a path strewn with flowers, but it is the path that leads to eternal peace. Sin may give you quick delight, but righteousness gives you deep joy, a joy that does not depend on circumstances, because it springs from me alone. My child, the days ahead will not be easy. The world will grow more and more chaotic, values will be turned upside down, and hearts will grow empty. They will call evil good and good foolish. Truth will be covered over by polished words, and the faithful will be seen as out of touch. But you must know this: I am still the one who reigns. No power can shake the foundation I have laid. When you stand on my word, you are standing on solid rock. The winds of the age may topple every weak tree, but those who root themselves in my word will remain standing, not because they are strong, but because I am the one holding them. There will be times when you feel as if you are losing out because you have given up what others are chasing. But remember, surrendering something for me is never a loss. It is an investment into eternal life. You cannot hold on to both me and the world, because one will always pull you away from the other. Yet trust this: whatever you lay on the altar for me, I will return many times over, not with fleeting riches, but with the fullness of your soul. When you choose righteousness, you may lose a few friends, but you will gain me. When you turn away from sin, you may forfeit a few pleasures, but you will receive a peace the world can never give. My child, do not be afraid when you find yourself standing alone. I did not create you to blend in, but to stand out in the midst of this life. Those who carry light will always be opposed by darkness, but darkness can never overcome the light. Every time you hold fast to your faith, that light spreads a little further. I do not need you to argue loudly or prove yourself. I only need you to live truthfully. Light does not need to shout to be seen. It only needs to burn as it was meant to. And when you live in truth, that light will naturally shine out, and others will see me through you. Do not think of righteousness as a burden. It is the shield that guards your soul from the arrows of corruption and despair. Hold on to it, even when your hands grow tired. For when the world crumbles, it is the righteous ones whom I will use as the foundation to rebuild. The choices you make today, even the smallest ones, are shaping your eternal future. You can choose what is easy and short-lived, or you can choose what is faithful and enduring. But only one road leads to true peace, and that is my road. My beloved child, if one day you feel as if everything is against you, remember this: you are not fighting alone. I am right beside you, and each time you choose what is right, heaven rejoices. Each time you resist temptation, the angels raise their banners in victory. I know your legs may tremble, but as long as you are still turned toward me, I will uphold you. For the blessings prepared for the righteous far surpass every counterfeit joy that sin can offer. And then one day, when you look back, you will see that not a single time you stood firm in the storm was meaningless. Every choice aligned with truth was a brick I laid to build a kingdom of peace within your heart. You will realize that the world could only offer you fleeting moments, but I have given you a life filled with meaning. And in that light, you will understand. The greatest thing you can do with your life is not to be well liked, but to be known by me, and to be called a child of the living one. My precious child, I know there are days when your legs are so weary that you no longer want to take another step. I know there are nights when you collapse in silence, your pillow soaked with tears as your heart cries, "Lord, how much longer?" But, my child, I am still there. I have never left, even when you can no longer feel my presence. In those moments when you think I am silent, I am, working deep within your soul, resetting foundations and forging endurance, so that you will be able to carry the blessing without being crushed by it. I understand every sigh, every wave of overwhelm that sweeps over you in long trials. I do not blame you for being tired. I simply whisper, do not forget, I am still walking with you. Every drop of sweat you shed, every time you choose to keep your heart upright amid thick temptation, is engraved in the palm of my hand. Not a single good deed of yours is forgotten. Not one moment of standing firm in life's winds goes unnoticed by heaven. You think you are slow, but in truth you are walking at my pace. I do not measure by speed, I measure by the depth of faithfulness. Each time you choose to love when you have been betrayed, to forgive when no one apologizes, to remain faithful when no reward is in sight, you are drawing closer to the destination I planned for you from the very beginning. My child, I have never expected you to be strong in your own strength. If you could do it all by yourself, you would not need me. Yet I still choose to walk with you, because I want you to learn that true strength comes from surrender, not from resistance. When you are weak, I am strong. When you are exhausted, I become your inexhaustible source. When you fall silent, I act, and when you stumble, it is my hand that lifts you up. Do not be ashamed of your weakness, for weakness does not disqualify you. It simply becomes the stage on which I display my power. Sometimes you think you have gone too far, that perhaps I have forgotten my promises, but my child, every word that goes forth from my mouth carries eternal life. Though heaven and earth pass away, my word never loses its power. I am never in a hurry, yet I am never late. I do not delay, but I wait for the right season for all things to be made complete. You think you are lost, but in truth you are being reshaped so that your path becomes straighter. Every bend, every turn, every dim path lies within the map of my grace. You do not need to see it all. You only need to take my hand and walk, for I know the way. I am the way, the truth, and the life. My child, do not fear the days when you feel no fire in your heart. The flame within you will not always burn fiercely, but I keep the embers alive. Every prayer you breathe out in despair, even if it is no more than a sigh, I still hear. And when you no longer know what to pray for, I intercede for you. That is a love that cannot be measured. The world will tell you that you must be perfect to be loved, but I love you even when you are broken. You do not need to perform your faith before me. You only need to be honest that you are weak. I do not demand strength from you. I ask for trust. When you feel like giving up, look back at the journey. Every wound is a lesson, every tear a seed, and now those seeds are about to sprout. I know you do not see anything yet, but beneath the still soil, life is stirring. I am turning what you once thought was loss into the very ground on which new blessings will grow. Every hurt, every scar, every failure, I will weave them all into the story of your victory. For I have never written a song that ends unfinished. Every chapter I begin will reach a glorious conclusion, if you do not let go of my hand. My child, believe that every second you remain steadfast in faith, heaven rejoices. The world may not see, may not understand, but I see everything. I see you walking quietly, trying to hold on to a smile in the middle of pain, choosing forgiveness while your heart is full of tears. You think no one knows, but in those very moments, I draw nearer to you than ever. I bend down, wipe away your tears, and say, I am proud of you. My dear child, do not compare yourself with others. They have their own path, and you have your own spiritual journey that I have written with my own hand. You may be walking through a desert now, but do not forget that it was in the desert that my people saw the glory of heaven. You may be passing through suffering, but do not forget that suffering forges an unshakable faith. When you come through, you will see that what you thought was a burden was really my arm training you to carry glory. And when the pressure is too great, when your heart feels shattered by waiting, when you ask yourself, can I still get up again? Remember that my grace is sufficient for you. My power is revealed most clearly in the very place where you feel you are at your worst. I do not require perfection from you. I ask you to believe that I am still at work in the parts of you that are not yet complete. What makes you, my child, is not your flawlessness, but your willingness to let me finish my work in you. You will see that every sacrifice, every long night of perseverance has never been in vain. Every small step you take in obedience will join together into a great road leading to the destiny I have prepared for you. Not a single moment is wasted when you walk in my will, even when you can only manage to stand. As long as you do not turn your back, I will turn that standing into a leap of grace. I do not measure your labor by visible results, but by the heart you keep unchanged, even when life changes around you. And my child, remember this: you are not walking alone. When you move forward, I walk with you. When you stop, I shelter you. When you stumble, I lift you up. You cannot see it all, but day by day, hour by hour, I am covering you in unfading love. You may feel lonely, but loneliness is only a feeling, not the truth. The truth is this: I am still right beside you, patient and gentle, waiting for you to look back to me. So, my child, keep going, even when you cannot yet see the finish line. Keep believing, even when your faith feels fragile. Keep praying, even when your words seem to dissolve into the air. For I hear, I know, I understand, and I am at work. Do not let weariness make you give up just before the miracle blooms. Do not let disappointment make you forget that my hand is still steady over your life. Everything I begin, I will bring to completion. And when you look back, you will see that it was in those weary days that I quietly wrote the most beautiful chapter of your journey, the chapter of mature faith, of a soul reborn in trust, and of a heart that no longer fears. You will realize that what I have always desired from you was never perfection, but a heart that keeps coming back to me, no matter how many times it falls. For where you are weak, I am strong. Where you are empty, I am overflowing. Where you think you have lost, I am preparing to give you far more than you can imagine. My child, do not be afraid anymore. Every storm will one day grow still, every sorrow will pass, and my light will shine again upon your path. Then you will understand. It was in the very days you thought you had collapsed that I was carrying you in my arms. And I will bring you to the place your heart has longed for, the place where peace can no longer be stolen, where faith stands firm, and where you know that every labor has blossomed into a new season of blessedness. My beloved child, there will be days when you must stand at the crossroads with a trembling heart, where the light of righteousness and the darkness of compromise are separated only by the thinnest thread. The world will skillfully set before your eyes roads paved with promises, fame, comfort, momentary pleasure, things that make you feel as if you are drawing closer to success, when in reality they are only mirages, causing your soul to slowly slip away from my foundation. You will be tempted to choose the path that is shorter, lighter, and less conflicted, but, my child, the shorter way is always paid for with what is lasting, and what is easy always steals what is true. My path is not always straight, but it is the only path that leads to true life, a life with peace, with purpose, and with eternity. When you hear the world whisper, just this once, it's no big deal, I want you to pause and ask your heart, does this bring glory to my Father's name? For every small compromise is a brick you remove from the wall that protects your soul. The enemy never comes with horns and claws. He comes with a sweet smile and promises of passing pleasures. He will tell you that no one will see, that you deserve to feel at ease, that you have the right to follow your own desires. But, my child, do not forget that a little leaven leavens the whole lump of dough. A small compromise can open the door for chaos to rush in. I did not create you to chase fleeting illusions. I have called you to live, set apart, even when that makes you feel alone. There will be times when the pressure of this world will make you want to let go. Loud voices will surround you on every side. Everyone does it. Times have changed. You have to be flexible to survive. But my child, flexibility does not mean lowering the standards of heaven. When you compromise to please the world, you are building your house upon the sand. It may stand in the sunshine, but it will collapse in the storm. Yet if you choose to stand on my word, even at the cost of loneliness, even when you must pay a price, you will have a foundation that nothing can shake. I have not called you to blend in. I have called you to stand firm. Light shines brightest when it refuses to become part of the darkness. I know there will be moments when you feel exhausted from always having to swim against the current of the world. There will be days when you sigh and think, if only I could just go along with everything. I see that, and I understand. But, my child, if you belong to me, your soul will never find rest in compromise. You may try, but you will never find true peace. For peace is not found in being accepted, but in living in truth. When you choose to, hold fast to what is right. Even if people turn their backs on you, I will turn my face toward you. When you choose to keep your heart pure, even when people do not understand, heaven will smile. Do not fear being different, for that is the very mark of the children of the kingdom. Light is not afraid of darkness. The very nature of light is to drive darkness away. Remember, your faithfulness is the loudest sermon about my grace. People may not listen to your words, but they will see how you live. When you refuse deceit, when you choose love instead of retaliation, when you dare to say no to what is wrong, the world will see me in you. And in that moment, you are no longer just someone who follows me. You become a living testimony of my goodness in a world that has forgotten what is true. My child, do not be troubled if at times you must walk alone. You are not truly alone. I walk with you in every silent step, in every difficult decision, in every night you wrestle in your heart, because you chose what is right instead of what is easy. When others leave you because you are not like them, I remain because you have chosen to be like me. I will not let you collapse in loneliness. I will fill your soul with the sweet presence of the Holy Spirit. Your eyes may not see it, but my angels encamp around you, shielding you from the arrows of the enemy, from slanderous words, from the fears that creep into your heart. The world will try to pull you down with comparisons. They will ask, why make life so hard for yourself? Why not just live like everyone else? But, my child, what is easy is not always right, and what is right is rarely easy. You were not born to live a life of mere comfort, but to live a life of eternal worth. Every decision you make today is writing the story of eternity. I want you to remember, every time you choose faithfulness, you are shaking the kingdom of darkness. Each time you say no to compromise, another lamp is lit in the night. You are not only guarding your own soul, but also inspiring others who are searching for the way back to me. When you stand firm in the midst of trials, you will come to understand the true meaning of spiritual freedom. Freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want, but the deliverance from the need to please the world. When you learn to live only to please me, you will find that your heart becomes strangely light. No more fear of judgment, no more weariness from constantly competing with others. You will discover a deep, quiet joy, a joy that does not come from circumstances, but from knowing you are walking in the right direction. It is the joy of one who knows that everything I have promised is true, and everything I give is enough. I know there will be times when you lose step, when you stumble, when you are worn out from the headwind. But even when you go astray, do not let sin push you farther away from me. Come back. I never shut the door on you. Though you are weak, I remain strong on your behalf. Though you tremble, I stay steadfast. Though your light grows dim, my light still guides your way. I am not looking for perfection in you. I am looking for a loyal heart. As long as you choose to return, no matter how many times you fall, I will still welcome you with open arms and call you by the very name I gave you before the foundation of the world. My child, the world may make you feel out of place, but I want you to know that you are on the right path. You are walking the narrow road, the road of the chosen. That road is not crowded, not noisy, but it leads straight into the kingdom of peace. As you walk, lift up your eyes, for I am always there. I am the North Star that guides you, the flame that never goes out in your heart, though the winds of life may blow fiercely, though the night may be thick and heavy, my light in you will never be extinguished. Walk on, my child, bold, upright, and faithful. Do not fear being misunderstood. Do not fear being isolated. For when you dare to live truth in the midst of falsehood, when you dare to choose righteousness in the midst of wickedness, you shine like a city set on a hill. People will see your life, see me in you, and give glory to your Father in heaven. You are the proof that grace is still at work in this world, that faithfulness is still beautiful, and that love is still stronger than darkness. My child, guard your heart in purity. Let your steps not stray from my way. For the reward is not found at the end of the easy road, but at the end of the faithful one. When you arrive there, I will welcome you not with the glory of this world, but with the joy of heaven, and I will say to you, well done, my faithful child. You have walked the right path. Enter into the everlasting joy of your Lord, my beloved child. When the first movements begin to take place in your life, be at peace, and remember that every change lies in my hands. Even if the ground beneath your feet trembles, even if the world around you is full of noise and confusion, I remain the foundation that can never be shaken. Do not stare at the chaos and forget the hand that is holding you. Nothing that is happening is outside of my purpose. It is I who am rearranging, removing what is old, and leading you into a new place of blessing. My child, in the midst of these changes, do not be afraid, for I still rule over every detail of your life. Everything you are facing is not to leave you lost, but to teach you to lean on me more, to help you recognize that I am the solid rock in the midst of every upheaval. You know, there are things I must shake loose, things I must unsettle, so that what is true may be revealed. I do not allow everything to be shaken in order to frighten you, but so that you may clearly see what is worth holding on to and what must be released. You will come to realize that some things you once thought were secure are nothing more than shifting sand, while things you once took lightly are in fact the very rock I laid for you. I want you to enter a new season of maturity where you do not merely say that you believe, but truly live in trust. When changes come, know that I have never left my throne and that my promises are not altered by time or adversity. I have promised you, and I am not one who makes a promise and then forgets. Though everything around you may change, my word stands firm as in the beginning. Hold fast to that promise as a sailor clings to an anchor in the storm. When you stand on my word, you stand on me, the one who never falls. And you will see that through every upheaval, I am quietly keeping rhythm over your life, so that you do not drift toward fear, but move closer to fullness in me. My child, I know that soon there will be countless voices competing for your mind. Each voice will try to pull you in a different direction, the voice of the world inviting you to ease, the voice of desire urging you to choose the quick way, the voice of fear warning you that you are losing out. But in the midst of that noise, listen for my voice, gentle yet full of power, always calling you back to truth. The world will whisper that following me is too hard, that faith is a barrier, that you are missing out on life. But, my child, you are not missing out on anything. You are being saved from what could destroy your soul. The world can only offer you temporary sensations, but I give you a joy that never goes out. Remember, my child, perseverance is the key that opens the door of the kingdom. It is not the one who starts well, but the one who finishes, who will receive glory. You may feel that the path of righteousness is dry, lonely, even costly, yet it is the only path that leads to life. The rewards of this world may glitter, but they quickly fade, whereas my reward, eternal life, true peace, and unfading glory, cannot be compared with anything. The world gives you applause. I give you an everlasting crown. There will be times when you ask yourself, is it worth it to stay faithful when everyone else is so relaxed? There will be moments when you see others advancing faster, enjoying more, and your heart will be tempted to turn aside to another way. But I tell you truly, every hidden step of faithfulness you take is a seed I am sowing into a future harvest. When you keep righteousness in the midst of trials, you are building a temple no one can tear down. All that you endure today will one day become a powerful testimony that I am the faithful God. My child, keep your eyes fixed on what is eternal, for when your gaze is set above, the things of the earth will no longer cause you to be shaken. Do not let what seems like my delay make you doubt my heart. My ways are not your ways. My timing is not confined to any clock. I am not slow, I am precise. Everything I do has its own rhythm, and when you learn to trust that rhythm, you will find peace in the midst of waiting. You may not yet see the results, but every prayer you have lifted up is blossoming in the unseen realm. Remember my word, those who sow in tears shall reap with songs of joy. The tears you have shed have not fallen in vain. They are the drops of water that have been nourishing the seed of faith, so that in the right season, my harvest will overflow with joy. You will no longer have to strive to chase after blessing. Blessing will come seeking you. You will not need to fight to claim what is yours. Grace will pour out over you of its own accord. For those who remain in me will see with their own eyes the fruit of their labor. Do not forget, my child, I have not called you merely to survive, but to shine in a darkened generation. When others run after what is passing, choose what is everlasting. When the world changes with every emotion, stand firm upon the truth. When others chase after fame, seek me. For the reward prepared for the faithful far surpasses anything this world can give, and I promise you, one day you will understand that no sacrifice made for me was ever wasted. Whenever you feel your heart growing weak, lift your eyes to the cross, the place where I did not give up, even though that path was more painful than any other path. I completed that journey not because I needed it, but because I love you. So, my child, do not stop halfway. Keep walking, even if your steps are slow, even if your heart still trembles. For I am going before you, preparing everything in advance for the day you arrive at glory. My child, I want you to know that what you are going through today is not random. Every change, every wave, every trial, each one is a tool I am using to refine your soul. I do not lead you through the fire to destroy you, but to purify you. I do not let you pass through the winds to blow you away, but that you might learn to fly. Let your heart rest in the knowledge that I am still on the throne, and that everything now in motion is a sign of a new season, a season in which I will make all things work together for your good, a season in which your faith will mature and your soul will learn what true peace is in the midst of a shaking world. So be courageous and move forward, my dear child. Do not fear change, for it is precisely through change that I am forming the person I destined you to be. Do not fear loss, for I never take away anything without giving something better in return. Believe that all of my plans are leading you into wholeness, and then, one day, when you look back, you will clearly see my hand in every event, gentle, hidden, yet full of power. You will smile and say, Lord, everything you have done is truly good. Remain faithful, my child, for your reward is not only waiting at the end of the road, but is found in every step you steadfastly walk with me. And when you reach the finish, I will embrace you and say, "Well done, my faithful child, you have endured to the end. Enter into the eternal joy of your Father." My beloved child, I know every silent battle you are facing, every moment when you have to brace yourself against the sweet yet deceitful calls of this world. I understand that the temptations surrounding you are no small thing, for they do not only touch your flesh, but seek to slip into your mind, to steal your faith and your steadfastness. I see the moments when you are weary, the times you want to give up, when the light seems far away and the darkness feels so near. But my child, remember this: I am still here. In every breath you take, in every weak whisper from your heart, I am upholding you, watching over you, fighting for you. You are not alone on this battlefield, for I, the Lord your God, have never left your side, not even for a second. Lift up your head, my child. Do not let your eyes cling to the dust of the earth, where there is only fear and decay. Turn your gaze to me, the one who has overcome death, who has crushed every power of darkness, and who is reigning within your heart. When you look to me, you will see that the storm is not as terrifying as it once seemed, for the more your eyes hold fast to me, the smaller this world will appear. Every temptation, every alluring call of vanity is but a fading shadow when you know that you belong to an eternal kingdom. My child, anchor your heart in my word, for only my word can keep you from falling. Only my word can lead you out of the whirlwind of deception. The world changes, people change, feelings change, but my word never changes. I know the world is praising the easy road, the path where people can have everything without suffering, where fame and pleasure are exalted as new gods. But I tell you the truth, that is nothing more than a road paved with flowers over a deep pit of the soul. The wide road is always crowded because it demands no sacrifice. But you, my child, are called to walk the narrow way, the way of faith, obedience, discipline, and faithfulness. That path has thorns, stones, and tears, but it is there that you will encounter me most clearly, for I am not standing at the end of the road merely waiting. I am walking with you in the very midst of that way. My child, I do not promise that you will never stumble, but I promise you will never be abandoned in your failure. When you are weak, I will be strong for you. When you fall, I will lift you up. When you no longer have the strength to pray, my spirit within you will intercede with groanings too deep for words. I do not love you because you are strong. I love you because in your weakness you still turn toward me. Every time you choose to rise again, even trembling, heaven records another victory for your soul. For I am not counting how many times you have fallen. I am counting how many times you dare to stand up in faith that I am still there. My child, you are not merely a survivor in this life. You are more than a conqueror in Christ. The power that raised me from the dead is now at work in you, not a power of the flesh, but a power that turns every hopeless situation into a new beginning. When you feel helpless, remember that my blood was not shed for you to live in defeat, but so that you might lift your head high. There is no chain stronger than the cross, no yoke of slavery I cannot break. Temptation is only strong when you believe that you are weak, but when you believe that I am in you, every temptation becomes nothing more than a weak breeze passing over the mountain of faith. My child, this world will tell you that going along with it is wisdom, that compromise is the way to survive. But I say to you, righteousness is true wisdom. Do not trade your soul for temporary safety. You are not created to dissolve into the darkness, but to walk through it while keeping the light within you. Every time you refuse what is wrong, you are not losing opportunities. You are protecting your soul. Every time you choose what is right, even at a cost, you are building a strong wall of protection around your life. I see every hidden decision, every time you choose silence instead of arguing, gentleness instead of retaliation, forgiveness instead of resentment. Every small act I record as a sweet fragrance rising before my throne. Do not be afraid if you feel you are walking alone, for being alone with me is better than being surrounded by those far from me. The world may be noisy, but it is never truly joyful. It may glitter, but it never truly shines with light. Yet if you have only me, you still have everything. Be faithful, my child, in the smallest things. Be faithful in prayer, faithful in your work, faithful in the way you love and forgive. Do not wait for a great miracle in order to believe me, for the real miracle is happening every day when you choose what is right, though no one sees, when you choose to keep a pure heart in a stained world. I want you to know that your life does not end in this trial. Every gust of wind you are enduring today is training for the wings that will carry you higher tomorrow. Keep moving forward, even if your steps are slow, even if your breathing is heavy. Do not let fear make you stop, for what lies before you is not a chasm, but a glorious summit where I am waiting. Remember this, not a single tear falls without my seeing it, not a single sigh escapes without my hearing it. Every sacrifice you make is being woven into a robe of glory that I will place upon you on the day of victory. My child, do not let lies convince you that you are nothing. You are the one I have chosen, anointed, and sent. You are living proof that grace is stronger than sin, light is stronger than darkness, and love is stronger than every fear. I rejoice over you not because you are perfect, but because you have not given up. You still believe, still seek me, still walk forward, even when you cannot clearly see the way. I call that true faith, and it is that very faith that is shaking heaven and earth. Keep your eyes fixed on me, for the more your gaze is lifted toward heaven, the more your heart is raised above what is base and lowly. I will lead you through every turning in the road, and with each step you take, I will lay a firm foundation beneath your feet. My child, I have ordained for you a radiant future, a reward far greater than anything you have ever dreamed of. Trust me, for I never promise what I will not fulfill. Even when you cannot see it, I am preparing the way. Even when you do not understand, I am at work. Even when you feel small and insignificant, I am using that very weakness to reveal my power. Therefore, move forward, my child. Do not look back at the past, it has already been forgiven. Do not fear the future, it is already held in my hand. Live today in faith, in gratitude, in righteousness, and in the hope that everything I have promised will surely come to pass. Every step you take in my word is a step closer to the blessing, the peace, and the abundant life that I have promised you. Keep walking, keep believing, keep living uprightly, for I, the faithful one, will never leave you nor forsake you. When you look back one day, you will see that every trial was only a foundation for victory, and every tear was but a drop of oil fueling the lamp of everlasting glory. My child, I love you with an unchanging love. Keep walking with me, for a new season of grace has come, and the blessings I have prepared for you far surpass anything you have ever thought or asked for. I will lead you through wind and through fire, through the darkness of the night, until at last you step into the light of a future filled with hope, blessing, and righteousness, which I have appointed for you from the very beginning. My beloved child, I do not exhort you with sword or thunder, but with the gentle love of a heavenly Father. I do not desire that you be afraid of me. I only long for you to know that my heart is always open, always patient, always waiting for you to come home. Thank you, that in the midst of the countless noises of this world, you still choose to pause and listen for me. Every time you turn your heart toward me, even if only in a single breath, I am already there closer than the beating of your own heart. You do not need to be perfect to hear my voice. You only need to be sincere in your longing to seek me. If each day you offer me just a moment, simply to whisper, "Father, today I need you," I will answer. I will speak in the silence, in the light of dawn, in a song that unexpectedly plays, or in the tears you think no one sees. Not a single one of your prayers falls to the ground in vain. I gather them up like precious gems, and at the appointed time I will cause them to blossom into blessing. My child, keep seeking me, and do not grow weary. Each day you draw nearer to me is a day the world loses its grip on you. When you seek me not out of fear but out of love, you will see that I am not only a distant God, but a Father, the one who knows every small thing within you, from your smile to the wounds that have not yet healed. You will come to realize that I am never truly silent. It is only that the world is too loud, and you have not yet been still long enough to hear. Remember, whoever seeks me with all their heart will find me. No one runs to me and returns empty-handed. If you keep walking, even slowly, even weakly, I will walk with you. If you fall, I will lift you up. If you lose your way, I will come and find you. For there is no child who seeks the Father and is forgotten. Therefore, do not fear the dark days. Do not lose heart in the dry and barren hours. Keep seeking, keep believing, for everything I desire to say to you will be revealed in its time, not early, not late, but precisely in the season when you most need to hear it. And one day, when you look back, you will smile and say, "Lord, you were never silent. It is only now that my ears have truly learned to hear. I love you with an unchanging love. Keep drawing near, and you will realize that every step you take in seeking me is a step I am already taking toward you. Now, my child, let your heart become still. Let all the noise of the world fade away, until only the breath of your soul reaching toward me remains. Open your heart without hiding, without fear, and offer up to me the deepest prayers that rise from the very bottom of your being. O Almighty God, who sees all that is hidden within my heart, today I come before you with a soul both weary and grateful. I have passed through many nights that seemed to hold no dawn, yet you still held my hand and led me through. I thank you for the moments of exposure I once thought were loss, for the times of breaking that in truth became the beginning of healing. Please continue to shine your light within me, stripping away every falsehood still buried deep inside, and place within my heart your truth. When I am weak, grant me strength. When I am confused, grant me the peace that surpasses all understanding. I lay before you all my hurts, that from this day on I may no longer carry them as a burden, but bear them as a testimony to your redeeming grace. O my Holy Father, I do not come to ask for great things. I simply ask that you keep me from losing heart. The world around me is full of deception, noise, and haste. I lose my way so many times, yet I believe you are the true compass. Please teach me to remain faithful amidst all that changes. Grant that I may choose truth even if I must walk alone, choose peace over fame, and holiness over comfort. No matter how many times I fall, please keep reminding me that your grace is sufficient for me, and that I never walk alone. O beloved Lord Jesus, who was wounded that I might be healed, today I come to offer you even the parts of me that I have not yet been able to forgive. Please touch the wounds I have hidden deep inside, the unnamed fears I have not dared to face. Help me forgive those who have hurt me, not because they deserve it, but because I desire to be free. Gently calm my heart and turn my bitter tears into living water that refreshes my faith. I know that only when I let go can I step into the true season of blessing you have prepared for me. Oh my God, my heart overflows with gratitude when I look back on the journey. I have walked through dark seasons and days that felt utterly hopeless, yet you still held my hand and did not let me lose my way. I thank you that every failure has taught me humility, Every wound has taught me to love rightly, and every moment of exposure has taught me to live more truthfully. You have not allowed my pain to be wasted, but have turned it into a testimony of your boundless kindness. O beloved Father, I thank you for grace that never runs out. When I am weak, you do not scorn me. When I am wrong, you do not abandon me. When I run away, you still wait for me. Your love is not loud, yet it is steadfast and gentle, deep as the very breath of life. I thank you that each new day is another chance for me to begin again, to draw nearer to you, and to live as a child who truly belongs to the Father. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a strong community of faith.